More than 1 million people across parts of the southeast have been told to move inland as Hurricane Matthew barrels towards the U.S. We have an update on its track.
Some Kentuckians who had vacation plans in the South are staying home, but hear from others who decided to go to Florida anyway despite the storm.
Startling numbers show an increase in the number of cars stolen across Lexington, but police say there's something you can do about it.
This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. Here in the Bluegrass, the weather has been calm this week with sunshine and warm temperatures.
But a much different story in parts of the southeast as people there prepare for Hurricane Matthew. We continue to track the storm tonight. We begin with WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey and your no-wait weather forecast.
Guys, let's start with what's going on across the Bluegrass state. Then we'll jump down to the southeastern seaboard where all the action is and what is a dangerous hurricane taking aim at Florida. Nothing across Kentucky. Skies are clear. Planning your day tomorrow. Let's get you out the door in the morning with a little valley fog, mid and upper 50s tomorrow afternoon. It's a mainly dry sky yet again with thermometers closing in on 80 degrees. Here is your hurricane. This is Matthew, and now Matthew is back over the open water. Yes, it's into the Bahamas, but those are islands instead of Cuba, which directly impacted and weakened this storm just a little bit. So now we're starting to see the barometric pressure with this storm coming down. That's a sign that the winds will get ready to increase as we go through the overnight. So the storm is strengthening. It's a Category 3 right now. We've got our live radars on guard, scanning the skies here across Florida. Look where the storm is still forecast to go. National Hurricane Center keeping that path right on top of the east coast of Florida, where hurricane warnings are now in effect from parts of Georgia all the way into areas near and north of Miami. Category 4 hurricane is a good possibility as this makes landfall on the eastern coast of Florida. And from there, it's going to curve its way toward the Carolinas, then maybe try to do a little loop. Guys, when I come back in a few minutes, we'll look at a new model run based on this forecast, and I have made one change to that forecast period back here in Kentucky for Friday. I'll show you what that is in about 10 minutes.
All right, you have our attention. As Chris just showed us, Hurricane Matthew is still moving towards the southeast coast tonight, and today people who live along the barrier islands from Florida to South Carolina began moving inland.
The powerful storm has already left a path of destruction in the Caribbean. Don Champion has the latest in our top story at 11.
The warning for people along Florida's coast is dire. Get out or be prepared for the worst.
This is serious. Having a plan in place could mean the difference between life and death when it comes to a storm of this magnitude.
Hurricane Matthew is the strongest storm to threaten the region in more than a decade. In Florida alone, more than 1.5 million people have been told to leave their homes.
Matthew is strengthening again tonight. It's moving off toward the west. We have hurricane warnings that extend across a large portion of the Florida coast and tropical storm warnings that are farther inland.
In the Caribbean, the storm already killed more than 24 people. Here in the U.S., many are not taking chances. Stores have run out of food, water, and supplies. Airlines have canceled flights, while Amtrak is suspending service in parts of the southeast. Forecasters say this region will feel Matthew's impact in the next 24 hours. The storm is expected to pack powerful winds and more than 10 inches of rain could fall.
If you know you're going to evacuate, don't wait to evacuate. Get out now.
Michael Bosch is here on vacation from Germany and admitted this experience is foreign.
I hope it's not too strong.
In South Carolina, prison inmates filled 10,000 sandbags Wednesday to ship to shoreline areas. And workers boarded up buildings in coastal areas like Folly Beach, where 250,000 people have been told to head inland. Don Champion, CBS News, Daytona Beach, Florida.
Here in Kentucky, some people are changing travel plans to the southeast because of the hurricane, but others decided to go on to their trips despite the dangerous storm. Tonight, WKYT's Monique Blair talked to some people at Bluegrass Airport who were catching a flight to Florida. She continues our top story team coverage.
Caroline Murphy only wanted one thing for her birthday this Saturday. She wanted to wake up in the place where dreams come true. Disney World.
She was very surprised, and hopefully she's going to have a great 17th birthday.
But now Caroline, her family, and several friends face the chance of feeling the impact. Hurricane Matthew is expected to bring to the Sunshine State.
We bought rain jackets today, so we're going to make the best of it.
Caroline and her family were not the only people who chose to take their chances and brave the storm. I watched as a steady stream of people tonight made their way here through the Allegiant line, the last flight of the night through this airline, making their way straight for Orlando.
This is when my reservations are, so I'm heading down there to be evacuated.
2 flights leaving Lexington headed to Fort Lauderdale and Orlando tomorrow have been canceled, along with a flight from Fort Lauderdale to Lexington. So AAA advises travelers to do their research if they plan to travel in the next few days.
You might go ahead and call your destination places and ask them, should I still come, and what's your cancellation policy?
And for those who have decided to follow through with their vacation plans anyway, they say they will just hope for the best.
Well, luckily we have some friends that live there, so a little bit inland, so I'm just going to their house to ride it out and then hopefully get back to the beach by Saturday.
In Lexington, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Well, safe travels to those folks. The American Red Cross is sending a team from Kentucky to parts of the Southeast. According to the Courier-Journal, 4 Red Cross workers from Louisville and 1 from Lexington will head to the Carolinas or Florida in the next day. They'll prepare shelters and help with other relief efforts.
It's a crime Lexington police say in most cases can be easily prevented, but they say so far this year they've seen a large increase in the number of cars reported stolen. And tonight they're warning you about it so you can take steps to protect your car and valuables. WKYT's Garrett Weimer has a story.
Tanya Jenkins knows what it's like.
The glove compartment was open and the middle dash was open, and there were things that they could have taken and they didn't.
Turns out Jenkins is the lucky one. Police say cars are being broken into all over the city and hundreds are even stolen.
As a citizen of Fayette County, you need to safeguard your own things just with using common sense and something as simple as locking a car door.
Police say 262 cars were reported stolen in the past 3 months. That's nearly 100 more cases than the same period last year. Fewer cars were broken into in those 3 months compared to 2015, but the total spiked in September. Police worked more than 300 cases. Of the 262 cars reported stolen, police say thieves had keys to them in 110 of those cases. It highlights a fact police want you to remember, that crimes like these can often be prevented.
And not with a hyper paranoia vigilance, but just in the sense of keeping your keys in a safe place.
My dad was a policeman, and if he thought I left my keys in the car, he'd be like, well, you know what? You deserve to get your car stolen. That's exactly what he would say.
Jenkins says she locks her car and takes her keys with her, so she's not an easy target like so many others. In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
So again, police say lock your doors. Take any valuables, including your keys, with you. And with cold weather coming soon, police also say you should not idle your car to warm it up if you're not in it.
New tonight, state police have a warning for people in Madison County after what they're calling a suspicious encounter. They say about 11 this morning, a 17-year-old girl claimed a man in his 60s approached her at a lake in the Heron Landing subdivision off Speedwell Road. That's near Richmond. The teenager claims the man got out of his car, opened the rear driver's side door before telling her he was not there to hurt her and for her not to be afraid. At that point, the teenager ran away and police say the man drove off. Police haven't found the man. They say he's white, about 6'2", with salt and pepper hair, weighing 160 pounds and had on wire-framed glasses. Police say he drove a small, dull red color car that may have been a Nissan Sentra.
Today, Kentucky House Speaker Greg Stumbo said he's forming an investigation committee focused on Governor Matt Bevin. Stumbo says the committee will look into what he called potentially illegal actions by the governor. Among them, a lawmaker's claim that Governor Bevin threatened him in a voicemail. Stumbo says 5 state House members will make up the committee.
I can't sit by and allow these serious matters to go unlooked at.
Very, very, very desperate people pull stunts like Speaker Stumbo just did.
The governor's office says he did nothing wrong. Stumbo says this is a fact-finding committee, not an impeachment committee, but he says depending on its findings, criminal charges could be filed.
He was hired as a contractor for a federal agency, but a man now faces charges because investigators say he stole government secrets. What we've learned about the case in 9 minutes.
And then how the community helped a Central Kentucky boy receive something that will help in his recovery from a shooting.
Your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
As calm as it is across the Bluegrass State, the overall weather pattern across the country is very, very active. We just happen to be stuck in a period or a part of that pattern to where you're getting in on some nice weather. So you almost feel guilty with what's going on, especially to our southeast. Let's look at what is going on here in Kentucky before we do get to all the bad news. Locally, not a whole lot showing up on your Defender radar network. Things are high and dry. We had temperatures today, low 80s in a lot of spots. You're going to be back there again tomorrow. We've got a cold front number 1, not really going to impact our weather. Cold front number 2 has wintertime coming in behind it. I've got 20s and 30s and snow into parts of the Rocky Mountains right now into North Dakota. Not talking about anything like that, but that front means business as it's going to knock those temperatures way down this coming weekend. Until we get that front in here, let's bask in another 80-degree high temperature day for our Thursday, shall we? Upper 70s, low 80s, depending on where you are. A little sun versus clouds and winds. That will be pretty gusty. Hour-by-hour forecast does have a change in it for your Friday. Something we talked about a little earlier. Let's show you your Thursday, a lot like today. All right, move on. Thursday, we're done with you. Let's go to Thursday night and into Friday. How about this? Eastern Kentucky. Cloud cover. Notice a little green showing up. That would be a shower chance as far to the west as Mount Sterling, Moorhead potentially as we go into the afternoon on Friday. Now that isn't directly associated with our hurricane, but it is some moisture way out ahead of that. And this time of year, you get any cloud cover or a shower or two can play a big role in temperatures. Look at this. 63 Ashland at 5 o'clock on Friday, 75 Lexington with some clouds versus sun. So that shower chance again mainly to our east, but we'll see tomorrow if that can edge a little farther to the west. We go into Friday evening. Right now, high school football fans, most of us are dry. Most of our Saturdays are going to be dry. Even with a cold front on top of the area, it does not have a lot of juice with it. And the numbers for Saturday afternoon, as the sun comes back out, will drop into the 60s for a high temperature. And it's a quick drop by late evening into the upper 40s to around 50. And look at what happens as we go into Sunday morning. This model is back to showing some upper 30s to low 40s to begin the day on Sunday. All right, that's the calm part of the program. Let's get into the ugly part of the program. This is our hurricane that is in a strengthening mood right now. Again, it's a Category 3, 115 miles per hour in terms of sustained winds. The track from the National Hurricane Center has not changed very much at all since a little earlier. All the counties that are in red here across Florida, that includes Orlando, Daytona Beach, Orlando Inland, with a hurricane warning that is out, and that goes all the way down toward the West Palm area. Hurricane watches extend on up the coast, but look at what may happen with Matthew. It may get toward the South Carolina coastline, put the brakes on, and try to curve back toward the west and south, may do a little loop, and try to impact parts of Florida again in a weakening phase, maybe early next week. Not going to impact our weather around here, but there's the change on Saturday, or Friday, I should say. A small chance for a shower now into eastern Kentucky with temperatures in the 70s, 60s, and dropping on Saturday. Guys, heading out to Commonwealth Stadium Saturday afternoon, it's going to be blustery. 60s at kickoff, 50s by halftime.
All right, let's hope it heads to the ocean and dies out there.
Yeah, tomorrow night at this time, guys, we've got live radars all across the state of Florida that we can tap into. We're going to be tracking. We'll get 3D looks at Hurricane Matthew as it is right on the coast this time tomorrow night.
All right, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
You bet.
We have a special honor tonight for some of us here on the evening news team. Sam just happens to be on the cover. He is the model of the October edition of Tops and Lexington magazine, one of them. It's the inspiration issue. Inside, you'll find other cancer survivors like Sam sharing their stories.
Hey, who's
and
that?
I also happen to have a feature article in the magazine this month about life in the news business. We want to thank Tops and Lexington for sharing our stories.
We do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, a man says he had just turned off his phone after stepping on a plane in Louisville, but what happened next caused the flight to be canceled. That's in 7 minutes.
New tonight, investigators now claim a contractor for the National Security Agency stole government secrets.
Harold Martin III was arrested last month. They say he admitted stealing classified computer codes that he knew were top secret. Investigators say some of the NSA's highly sensitive secrets about its cyber tools ended up online because of the theft. Martin's wife only had this to say outside the couple's Maryland home today.
I am standing by my husband, that I love him very much, and, you know, he's a good man.
Inside Martin's home, investigators say they found hard copy documents and digital information from the NSA stored on multiple devices. If convicted, he could receive more than 10 years in prison.
A man says his replacement Samsung Galaxy Note 7 phone caused some frightening moments on a Southwest Airlines plane in Louisville today. Brian Green says seconds after he powered the phone down, it started smoking in his pocket. He threw it to the floor, worried it would explode. As a precaution, the plane was evacuated. No one was injured, and the phone did not explode or catch fire. Green says he had the original Galaxy Note 7, but took it back to the store after Samsung recalled it because of the risk of explosions and fires. He says he received the replacement phone, which Samsung claimed would be much safer a few weeks ago.
I'd never powered the phone down. This was the first time I'd powered it down. Went to the movies the other day and I just muted it, of course, but I hadn't powered it down. So I did everything I was supposed to.
The plane was still at the gate when the phone started smoking. The flight to Baltimore was canceled.
New tonight, a man accused of assaulting a Laurel County sheriff's officer is now in custody. State police say they arrested 35-year-old Tony Burks this afternoon during a traffic stop on Interstate 75 in Whitley County. When they arrested him, they say Burks had meth, marijuana, and 4 fake $50 bills. Last weekend, police say Burks hit a Laurel County deputy who tried to arrest him and got away. Burks is now facing multiple charges, including assault and drug offenses.
New tonight, a Lexington boy injured in a shooting more than a year ago now has a service dog to help him. Antonio Reese is now 11 years old. His family says he had multiple surgeries and has come a long way since being shot while riding in his family's SUV. But the family says Antonio needed a service dog to help in his recovery. So people in the community helped raise the $22,000 needed for the family to get the dog named Alice. The family says the dog is trained to sense when something is wrong with Antonio and alert them.
She helps me for seizures and a lot of stuff.
Alice gives me that sense of security, knowing that she's going to bring him to me. They're going to be together. They're sidekicks. Everyone's going to know Antonio and Alice.
Well, the family wants to start a nonprofit organization that helps raise money for other families who also need service dogs. Alice is a pretty special dog.
Yeah, what a tremendous gift for both of them. Just ahead, Kentucky has lost a coaching legend.
Bobby Keith passes away. We will look back on his remarkable record at Clay County. And Lafayette's Landon Young, just a freshman, but he's already making an impact with the Cats. Stay with us. Sports is next on WKYT.
Friday's Mega Millions jackpot is $41 million.
This afternoon, a Kentucky coaching legend passed away. Bobby Keith, who led Clay County to the Sweet 16 more times than any other coach, died at the age of 75. Keith led the Tigers to the state tournament a record 18 times. He was an amazing 18-1 in regional championships. Clay County won the 1987 Sweet 16. Tigers had runner-up finishes in 1985 and 88. Keith spent 29 seasons with Clay County, putting together a record of 767 wins, 125 losses. 5 times he was honored as Kentucky High School Coach of the Year.
By anybody's standards, is one of the greatest coaches in high school basketball history in Kentucky. You know, he won 86% of his games in 29 years, averaged fewer than 5 losses a year, which is incredible.
If I had a one-game situation for my life, if I had to pick a person to coach it, you know, he certainly would be one of those people that I would call and say, Coach, you know, this is for all the marbles, and you know, he would just be absolutely great, and I wouldn't have any qualms about what the result would be.
De'Aaron Fox is the next in a long line of point guards to play for John Calipari. Coming into Kentucky, he knows he'll be compared to others like Tyler Eulis. Fox is bigger, 6'4", has to work on his shot, but he thinks there are a lot of similarities.
We have a lot of similarities. Being able to control the game, both fast,
Defensively, we're both get after it. We're both going to get under guards, and we're going to have to turn them. But I mean, I think I'm more athletic, better rebounder, just because my size, and then we both have the speed to do whatever.
According to the Herald Leader, the UK women's team has picked up a commitment from a junior college shooting guard, Amanda Pascal, who won a junior college national championship down at Gulf Coast State College in Florida. She averaged about 11 points and 4 rebounds per game last season. On to football. The Cats have been much improved on defense over the last 2 games. They are back home Saturday to play Vanderbilt. Last weekend, #1 Alabama was able to rack up a lot of yards, but the Cats have been able to cut down on explosive plays.
We really haven't done anything different. The players have just executed better, but we've kind of stayed the course with what we do, and just hoped with repetitions that the players would catch on. And in some ways they have, in some ways they haven't, and we're just coaching them every day to get better and play technique and execute and play hard.
Landon Young, the true freshman out of Lafayette, is already having an impact for the Cats. Young has filled in for Cole Mosier at left tackle. He's played well. Going against a defense like Alabama is great experience.
I think it'll help a lot, and I really hope by the time, I get into my senior year, I'm put in it again, because that's the only way to be the best is to go against the best, and that's how I'm going to continue to improve my game, is by going against the best guys I can.
I think it's invaluable. I think going into those places and going against that, quality of competition, that caliber player is going to pay off huge dividends for him. And at this level, he's learning in a hurry that you can't have little subtle mistakes, false steps, missing with your hands, bailing your hip, whatever it might be. You can't do those things and be successful, because you're vulnerable. Those guys are too fast.
Cole Mosier coming back this weekend. Cats and the Commodores Saturday, 4 o'clock kickoff on the SEC Network. And the Girls State Golf Championship wrapping up in Bowling Green today. Mason County's Sarah Fight is your individual champ, 5 shots better than Scott County's Riley Markham. Madison Central's Mackenzie Neal tying for 5th. Sacred Heart wins the team championship. Scott County finishes 3rd there. Sports, we'll be right back.
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert is less than a minute away here on WKYT. Tonight's guests include Lindsey Vaughn.
A lot going on in Mr. Bailey's world.
Yeah, we've got a big hurricane across the southeast, guys. Good news for us. No direct impact on the weather across Kentucky. Obviously, terrible news for folks across Florida over the next 36 to 48 hours. They're going to be going through a major Category 3 and 4 hurricane. Around here, I can't rule out a shower into eastern Kentucky on Friday. Keeneland, opening day, fall meet looks good. Saturday, mainly dry, though. Chilly air will be around 40 by Sunday morning.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We will see you back here tomorrow.
Night.